Okay, caking in a heat wave, it's got us again, hasn't it? um, I don't know why we don't expect the hot weather, because it happens to us every year. We probably have 6, 8 weeks spread over the course of the year when it's just too hot to cake. So we need to get ready for it. We need to be prepared for it. I think the problem is in this country, we haven't got that air conditioned infrastructure like other countries have. Not every venue is air conditioned. Certainly not every car is, and our houses are not. So I've put together a little guide, a little list of notes, just to try and help not only our cakes but us to stop melting as well. So we can do quite a few different things just to help. You know, every extra degree we can drop the temperature is, you know, it's another step away from a disaster of a melted cake. We don't want melted cakes. So you need to cool your house down. First things first. So from early in the morning, if you know it's going to be hot, all those windows that have actually got shade on them, get those windows open so you drag in the cool air into the house. And the ones that are on the hot side of the house, keep those blinds shut constantly. Just keep them closed. All the time that sun is on a window, it's creating like that greenhouse effect in your house. So if we can just drop that temperature a little bit from right early in the day, it will help. I would 100% recommend that you do all your caking either early in the morning before it gets too hot or late at night when it cools down, whatever suits your body clock better. Also, if you can get hold of fans or even better an air conditioning unit, that's brilliant. I think the trick is to buy them over the winter when there isn't as much demand for it. You might not find them everywhere, but if you do find them, they're generally cheap because they've had them in stock since a few months before. So that's my top tip. If you've only got fans, you can put like a bowl of ice or a frozen 2 litre bottle of water or something in front of the fan, and it'll help circulate a bit more cool air. Right, so then we need to cool those products down as well, don't we? Buttercream and chocolate, they're gonna melt. Once the temperature's getting into the high 20s and early 30s, it is basic science that butter and chocolate are gonna melt. So our usual rule of leaving the cakes out of the fridge to crust up on the worktop, that's gone. You know, they're not crusting up because it's hot and it's humid. So the surfaces is not drying out. So the way we need to do it is we need to keep the cake cool all the time. Keep it in the fridge as often as we can. So before you even start, your cake layers need to be chilled right down. Chill them overnight in the fridge. Then once you fill them, get it back in the fridge so your filling then firms up. Take it out, crumb coat it, back in the fridge. It's the only way we can do it to make sure that they do kind of keep the shape. But don't forget your sponges as well are going to be softer because if you imagine butter at room temperature it melts. So that butter is in the cake. So the butter in the cake is melting, and that's why our sponges are coming out a lot softer. So I'd always recommend, don't just put one dowel through the middle of a cake to hold it together. You know, your single layer cakes, your single tier cakes, put 2 or 3 in, just so it just keeps your structure held up a bit better. It's scary. It is scary, but it's gonna happen. A way you can firm up your buttercream is by using 50-50 royal icing sugar to normal icing sugar. Royal icing sugar has got egg white powder in it, so that, you know, if you imagine actual royal icing, it's rock hard, so it will help to firm it up. If you haven't got royal icing sugar, you can chuck in a spoonful of egg white powder if you've got that. Do remember though, it is bringing egg into your buttercream that there wouldn't normally be egg in your buttercream, so you're introducing another allergen there. When it comes to your chocolate ganache, up your ratio. So if you normally use 2-to-1 dark chocolate to cream, use 3-to-1. Use 4-to-1 for your white chocolate ganache. Just up it a little bit and see how you get on. A few years ago I did try 6-to-1 white chocolate ganache, and it was just like trying to spread melted white chocolate on a cake, which on a cool cake it sets immediately, and it weren't good. But see what you can do. Different brands of chocolate will behave differently, so just keep on upping it slightly and see how you get on. Chocolate buttercream. Right, the way I make my chocolate buttercream is I will stir ganache into my buttercream. But what I've worked out for summer, if I'm making chocolate buttercream, is I just stir melted chocolate into it. And because the chocolate's firmer at room temperature, it helps your chocolate buttercream stop melting. So if you've got chocolate buttercream, that's how to do it. Right, your sugar pastes, they get sticky and they get too soft to work with, and we get sticky hands, and it's really difficult because it's not something we can chuck in fridge, is it? But what I would recommend doing, if it is going really soft and you just can't work with it, if you wrap it really tightly in a freezer bag, not cling film, a freezer bag, so it's nice and thick, make sure no air gets into it, pop it in the freezer for 20 minutes and then take it out, dust it with plenty of corn flour, and it should be a lot more manageable. Again, the heat's causing it, so we've got to try and take the heat out of it. Try and get into the habit. We know summer's going to be hot. We know that it catches us by surprise. So try and get into the habit of making all your sugar decorations a couple of weeks ahead, so that they've got plenty of time to dry out. Just store them in cake boxes on foam, and they'll dry out lovely, because when it's hot and it's humid, they don't want to dry out. So get them done plenty in advance. I made a minion a few years ago, and over the course of the day, you kind of stood at it. I made a tall cylindrical one, and it became one of the really little chubby squat ones over the course of the day. It happens to best of us. So yeah, add some Tylo. If you don't know what Tylo is, it's the powder. It's what the manufacturers add to sugar paste to turn it into modelling paste or flour paste. I mean, they'll put other things in as well, but that's how we can do it. There's Tylo powder, or there's another product called Gum Tragoxan, I think it's called. I just use the Tylos. It just helps it to firm up, and you can even add some to your full cake covering. It's completely edible. You can just add it to your full cake covering. If you're doing a wedding cake, it gets a bit scary if your fondant still feels soft while you're stacking it. So the addition of Tylos will just help it to firm up a bit better. When it comes to your hands being hot, all you can do is run them under cold water. You can keep like a sanitised freezer pack next to you, and just rest your hands on it now and again just to bring temperature down a bit. But they're going to feel damp if you're washing them, they're going to feel damp if they're sweaty. Just keep lots of corn flour. Dust everything with corn flour. If you're worried about your corn flour making marks on your fondant, you can use vodka or rejuvenating spirit and on a paintbrush in it, and it'll just bring it straight off. So when it comes to handover, because most of the disasters with melting cakes happen in the customer's hands, we know this, right? So try and have your collections or your deliveries as close to consumption time as possible. Offer delivery if you can. You're going to feel better if you're delivering it. If they've asked for something like fresh cream or fresh fruit, point out the weather. There is nothing we can do. Even the best cake makers in the world can't stop science from happening. Fresh cream's going to go off. Berries are going to turn to mush. So offer them an alternative. Have it in your mind ready to offer them. I'm sure they're going to go for it. They'd rather have a different sort of cake than a completely melted cake, wouldn't they? Tell every single client with plenty of notice that they can't just switch the aircon on once the cake's in the car. It's got to be cold while they're on the way to you. It's their responsibility once they're travelling with it. You can only hand it over to them perfect and cool. They need to travel with it properly. So they need to keep it shaded. They need to not park up in Tesco's car park and go and do the big shop. By the time they come out, your cake's going to be melted if it's a hot day. So yeah, make sure that they know very well that no matter what you do, a cake will melt in hot weather if it's left in a car. So yeah, pass it to them cool. Make sure they know how to keep it cool. So yeah, offer delivery if you can. That's the safest bet, I would say. But above all, keep yourself cool. Keep yourself hydrated. Try and work when it's more comfortable, early and late in the day, and have a nice cool bath at the end of the day. I literally keep a cool bath with bath salts in, filled all day, and I just keep on jumping back into it 2 or 3 times when it's really hot. Good luck.